Hi everyone, and as you saw earlier, we're going to be making a very simple shift dress, and this is the fabric I'm using. I'm recycling this fabric actually. So if you know this fabric, I think one of the tutorials that I made on the channel, if you've seen the tutorial, you know I made a boo-boo with this. So I've pulled it apart, and now I'm going to be making a simple shift dress with this fabric. So I'm going to be cutting the two front and back pieces separately because, as I said, I'm recycling this fabric, so I don't have one big piece to cut from. So this is the front of the fabric, fold into two, and the width, I think the width is enough for the width that I need for my size. Yeah, 13 is the width, so which is good, perfect. So this is what I'm going to be using. This is the top, so I'm going to section off a little bit at the top. Okay, so from there, the length of the dress that I want, I've got my measurements out here. So this is just a rough sketch of the dress. It's not the best, but kind of gives me an idea of what I need to do. So I've got my measurements all laid out. So the length of the dress is going to be 36, and that's including the hem allowance. So it's going to be a short dress. So mark out your length. And then, so for the neckline, the width of the neckline is going to be 3.5. So I'm going to be using 3.5 right here. And then the depth is going to be 8 inches, so that's where the V neck is going to be. So it's going to be here, 8, and then we want to connect the two. That's 8.5 for the shoulder. Okay. And then the bust is, my bust, I'm going to be using 38, so 38 divided by 4. So my bust line, let's do the bust line first. Bust line is 10, okay. Waist, and then waistline is 16. So we'll do the waistline. So hip line is 22, 23, so I'm going to use 22. Alright, so now that we have the 3 lines, so on the bust line, we're gonna mark our bust. So here from the shoulder, we're gonna do our armhole area, so it's gonna be 8 inches wide, so 8 inches. So from here to here, we'll mark 8. That's the armhole area, okay. And then on the bust line, you want to mark your bust measurement. I'm going to be 9, using 9.5, which is here. So square out this line to start, the shoulder and the armhole. Okay, so this is where the arm area is going to finish, and this is your bust measurement. So we need to connect the two. So this needs to be connected like so. So here we are. And then on the hip line, use 10.5. Then take that all the way down, and then all the way down to the bottom of the dress, and that's pretty much your pattern. Okay, so this is the fabric for the back. Again, the same thing, and I'm going to be using the front one to cut the back. I'm gonna be using this to cut the back piece. Okay, so but the only difference is I'm gonna leave about an inch of the center back, and that's because I want to add a zipper. That's gonna be the only difference. Okay, so I'm gonna be moving that right to the back, and I'm gonna leave about that much. So this is the zipper I want to use. It's quite long, so I think it's gonna be right there. Right, make sure that everything is on the line, and then just cut around the piece. So the back is gonna have a V as well. So cut that, and just trace it around and just cut that. That's pretty much it. Put the V-shape ends here, and then cut straight across. There we go. So just cut straight across here, the excess bit, and then we're gonna slip this into two, so the center back is gonna be open. Let's say from the shoulders we need about 16 around the waistline, so it's gonna be around here. So that's where the pocket would be. So I'm gonna get snip here that I want pockets. Okay, so I'm gonna put pockets right there on the waistline. So for the neckline facing, I'm gonna cut out what I need. So I'm gonna start off with the folded fabric, and then place on top. Make sure the edge is lined with that. And then the shoulder as well. So here you want it to be about, come down by about, so you want to have extra here. So on the edge, make sure there's extra length. Okay, so that's what you need. Extra length about 2.5. Okay, so here, so that's the edge, and then here you want to make sure the same thing, 2.5, which is here. Connect the two. Okay, and this should be your facing for the neckline. So you need another one for the back. Okay, so we start with the pockets. Pocket pieces. Attach right side facing right side. That's the golden rule. Find your point. There you go, right side facing right side. so. So here, you want to cut. So just on the stitch, right? On the stitch, on the stitch, on the stitch, all the way here. Okay, and this is pretty much it. Just need to iron that. Okay, so I think for the back I'm gonna attach the zipper first before doing the facing. So like you guys know, I don't have a pattern, so I'm just working everything out in my head, the way that I think it might work. So I'm gonna try doing the zipper first and see if that works, and if it doesn't work, then I'll probably have to come back to the drawing board. But in my head it should work. So I'm gonna sew this place closed because that's where the zipper is gonna be. So that's the easiest way that I know I can do a zipper. So I'm gonna sew this place short. So this is the allowance for the zipper that we sectioned off earlier. So I'm gonna sew that close. I'm just gonna pin that in place. Okay, so this is a beginner friendly way of doing your zipper. If you're new to it, I think if you follow this pattern, follow this style, you should be okay. So this is where the zipper should go. So I'm gonna sew this place. Right, so what I'm gonna do next is make sure that I iron this place flat. Okay, so I've sewn the center together and ironed it. So this will make it easier for me to do the zip. And now I'm just gonna place my zip at the top, like so. Make sure it's in the center, right bang in the center. Pin that. So I'm gonna use my zipper foot to sew this, and then I'm gonna sew all the way down here, and then sew all the way back up to finish at the top. Right, so that's what I'm gonna be doing next. Oh shit. Oh no, at the wrongest time. Okay, so the zipper is on, so I'm just gonna open it up at the back here to reveal the zipper. Okay, so now that I've cut it, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna sew here, sew there, top stitch, Bob's your uncle. So just sew the shoulders, the sides, go around the pockets, come back and finish. Okay, so the sides have been sewn. We've got our pockets in place. Now to finish off, I just need to finish the armhole, hem the dress to finish, and after that I'll show you the finished product.